Hi you guys, it's Stephanie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Well, we're going to make some more of those pages. I made this one with you guys the other day, and I have not touched my journal since that day. Just been busy, and so the way I'm doing this, you guys, I have to do things more like organized in my head, or I get really overwhelmed. There are so many pockets to fill in this that if I just kind of go page by page and randomly fill pockets, it will overwhelm me. So I'm doing all of the pockets that are this way now. I did all of the ones that have the top load, so I've moved on, and so that's why I'm doing more of these. I figured, well, I don't know. I hope I've planned it out well enough. We'll find out. If I didn't, that's for sure. Okay. These are going together pretty well as far as they're not coming apart, and they go through the embossing thingy really well while they're still a little bit moist. You know, the glue hasn't hardened or dried or whatever you want to call it all the way. So that's good. And so now I'm going to I think what I'll do is try and get this side to line up. Okay, I've got that on the back. It's going to be covered, so I'm not really too concerned about the back side of it. And I think I'm going to do it this way this time. And then like this. I just threw the cutoff in the trash next to me, but I think I missed entirely. When I'm done, I'll turn around and find a giant pile on the floor. Okay. And I didn't like the other day how there was so much, well, like no words, but I'm not going to concern myself about that today. I'm just going to do it just as it is and see how that works out. Okay, so again, I'm using this little guy, Texture Boutique by CoffeePaperScissorCo. I have one of those 3D ones, 3D embossing folders. It's a Tim Holtz one, and I only have one of them, and I got it recently, and they're thicker. The embossing, what is it called? The little folder, the embossing folder is actually thicker because it's 3D, and it doesn't fit through this thing. I have to figure out all the shims and everything. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Might have been better to do this side up. And I think I'm going to, maybe I'll do it this way and have that stuff. Okay. I'm going to cut this down just a little bit. I believe this is Frank Sinatra. I'm used to looking at older Frank Sinatra. So this looks like a very young Frank Sinatra, so he doesn't look as familiar to me. But I think that's what I, when I cut it out, I think that's what I had read. Okay, so let's go ahead and ink. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I was very busy all weekend. I'm always busy doing nothing. I'm not one to sit around unless it's crafting. I sit around crafting a lot, but I'm doing something. But I generally don't sit down and just do nothing until maybe 7 o'clock at night. And then I'll sit down and watch TV with my husband. But other than that, I'm doing something kind of all day long. But if you were to ask me what I was doing and what I accomplished, I would tell you pretty much nothing. But I was busy, and that's good. That keeps me happy. I went to my sister-in-law's for Easter dinner yesterday. We had brisket, and let's see, I don't want that one anymore. I'm gonna add a little black to the top. We had brisket, her husband did that, and I made some lemon bars and some scalloped potatoes and rolls. I did not make the rolls, I brought rolls. Okay. Oh, let's see. I think I'll ink around this. I think I'll ink around it a little. Well, we'll see. I'm going to put a little black around it. The black tends to smudge for me, so I'll just do a very tiny, tiny bit of black, and then I might go over it a little bit, if at all. Maybe a little bit. And we had salad. And then I was really full, so I came home and I did sit and do nothing for the rest of the day. I think it was, well, I don't know. I came in here when we got home and played around cutting things out, trying to get things ready to do this today. But then we sat and watched TV for the rest of the evening, which was good. Let's see, I think I will do. I've been having a little trouble with this glue this morning. It's wanting to ooze out. I left it laying on its side and it didn't like that, I think. Okay, and then I'm just going to line it up so I can see a little bit of the little ridge there from the embossing folder. And then I cut out a little radio microphone. So again, the book that I'm using is a 1940s. And then everything in it that I got the series, and it's, each book is a different year. So it's, 1940 through 1949. And each book, the images in it are supposedly, according to the book, from 1940. And so this would be Frank Sinatra performing on a radio show in 1940. It's fun to read, some of the people who were performing and stuff like that. With TV being what it is, and we can see people, one of my favorite Christmas movies is White Christmas. And it's just weird to think that Bing Crosby was doing these things in the 40s, you know, I think, oh no, I was watching that. I didn't come along for 30 years, you know, after he was already grown and busy being a musician, you know. It's just weird to think. It's almost like, you know, they're what is the word? Immortalized or something like that through TV. So anyway, I just got a text that was, I can see my texts on my iPad. I get all of those things confused. I sometimes I say iPod when I mean iPad. I know they're very different. I'm like, you know, the eye thingy. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I have my phone on airplane mode. And so, but I can still see things as it pops up on my iPad. And I just got a message from my sister that was very, very good news. So let's stop and think about that for a second. Very, very good news. She's not a real private person, but I don't think she wants me telling her business, you know, for all the world to hear. But it was good news. So that's wonderful. More good news is today is my mama's birthday. My sweet, sweet, sweet mama that I was blessed with. I could not have had a better mother. And I don't know. Makes me want to cry just thinking about it. I love my mother so much. She's working. She lives only 3 hours away, but she's at work, so. Sometimes I think about the times that, well, you know, we had a big family and it was just us. We didn't have family nearby, but there were 5 of us kids, and it's not real easy getting mom attention when there's 5 kids trying to get it, you know? And so, but I didn't think about it. It's not like I was like, oh, I need mom to pay me attention, you know? I just wasn't thinking about it. But you think about it, you know, as they get older and as I get older and you have kids or your kids are older and you think about what she was going through at certain times when your kids hit those same milestones, and your relationship and your thoughts of your mom, I think, really change. I guess for some people that they would say dad, but that's not the case for me. It would be mom. And I don't know, you just appreciate them even more, you know? Anyway, I know that most of us, you know, really, really cherish our moms. And I know also that some people, unfortunately, well, maybe lose them early, or I hate to say it, but not everybody's got, you know, sometimes there are bad moms. Let's just say that. That happens. I don't personally know anybody who had a bad mom, but I know that it happens. So I didn't get one of those. I got a wonderful mama. I think that's mostly the case. I even think when somebody has a mom that isn't necessarily maybe the best one, let's just say mama was a bank robber or something like that. I don't know. It happens. They still love their mama, you know? Isn't that weird? It's just a thing that's in us, I guess. Sounds like a country music song. My mama was a bank robber. Anyway. How much, so much for my rambling today. I used to like to hear my mom, you know, tell stories about when she was growing up. And how, you know, and it's funny I say that some people, for some people it's their dad. My mom loved her parents. My goodness, she loved both of her parents very much. But when she would talk about certain things, she would talk sometimes more about her dad, which is weird, since I do the opposite, even though I know she loved them both very much. But she would talk about fond memories of her dad, probably because my mother's poor mama had, it was 8 or 9 kids. So talk about getting mom time. She probably got more dad time than she got mom time. And so that's probably why she has more things to say about her dad. Okay, I missed a little edge of glue there. Her mom died when I was fairly young, so I have very, very, very slight memories of either of her parents. Just not much. She was diabetic, and that didn't go, you know, people didn't live as long. They didn't have the same medicines available now. Or, I mean, they had insulin and stuff like that, but they didn't just have the same resources, I guess. So, but she talks about her mom going out and getting a chicken for dinner, you know, wringing its neck and that sort of a thing. And that to me is hilarious. You know, I know people did it, and I know if we had to today, we'd still do it. You know, you got to feed people, you got to eat. But I just can't imagine it. Excuse me, sweetheart, I'm going to go out and wring the chicken's neck. Anyway. Okay, so here's the radio show. I like that. I'm glad I did. I hadn't originally thought to put Frank Sinatra on this side, but I'm glad I did it this way. I'm going to let that sit out to dry for a little bit. And then I also had this image that I wanted to kind of lay across this page. I thought it'd be kind of fun. And I was going to cut him and hopefully it turns out okay. I love these Norman Rockwell images. I went to, you know, a while back. I think I told you guys, I showed you something that I had gotten at an estate sale a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was a week ago, a week and a half ago. While I was at that sale, there was actually a Saturday Evening Post at this sale that I could have purchased, but I was like, well, I don't know what I would do with it because I don't know that I could cut it. And they're big magazines. And I couldn't use the images. Even if I could bring myself to cut it, the images are huge. So it's not like I could use them in a journal. So I didn't buy it. And I thought, well, at some point I'll probably regret that. But it's not like I want to collect them. So I didn't really see a reason why I would get it. I thought I'd leave it for someone else who really, really would want it. Okay, so this was attached to him around his foot, and he had his foot up on his suitcase. But I thought it would be cute to just glue it down here. I'm going to put this down first. actually going to cut the toe of the shoe off so that it's placed just a little bit better on the page. Okay, and so then he will go down as though he's kind of, we're going to pretend like he's sitting on it and leaning up like against a wall or something like that. That's what we're going to pretend instead of his feet being up on it. And I'm going to use my other glue because it doesn't dry as quickly, and I might have a chance to adjust it if I need to. Okay, yeah, good thing, because it really needs to come down. And then over a little bit. Get my wipe. See, I thought this kid here could be Frank Sinatra thinking, or it could be, because you know, doesn't really look like him, but it could. We could pretend, even though he looks a little bummish, but maybe he was still a struggling artist at that point. I don't know when he got real big. He was probably big already. Okay, then we'll go ahead and glue his feet down. Okay, so there is that page. I think that's cute. There we go. Make sure there's more glue. Alrighty. And then I have another one that is ready. So on this page we have, there's like televisions and radios. And in the book I found this Whitman's sampler. It might have been good to do a little black around it, but I think this is okay. And since, like, in the book, his head was, you know, at the top of the page, so I had to cut it that way. I didn't lop his head off just for fun. It was that way in the book. So I will go ahead and put it all the way up to the top. These books are kind of fun to read as I chop them up. And it talks about the things that people would go out and do for a date. I imagine that as kind of, you know, generalization, that not everybody did those same things, but I don't know, maybe. Okay, let's get it on there. And this says young love. The people that they show in these images, to me, they look like they're a lot older than, I don't know, when I think of young love, I think of somebody who's 20, you know, but these people in these images that they put in the book anyway, they look older than that to me. I remember watching movies, teenager type movies when I was a kid. And like, for instance, the movie Footloose. I remember watching that. I think the movie came out in like 83 or something like that. This says A Night on the Town, so I just thought I'd stick that down there. She got candies before going out for a night on the town. And then it also talked about, okay, so it said, oh, I meant to put this Norman Rockwell little thing on that other page. This one, okay, so for this one, I was just planning on, if it'll fit, yeah, I'm not going to emboss this one, but I am going to use the pages up to just kind of thicken them. But embossing isn't going to show. I was talking about Footloose. I think Footloose came out in like 83 or something like that. So in 83, I would have been 11. And so those teenagers looked so old to me, you know? Well, come to find out, they weren't teenagers. They were like 20 something when they made the movie. So no wonder they looked old. I'm not sure if they do that as much now as they used to, but okay, I need to screw that down. And then this, I am just going to I will cut it maybe at this one and this one, and then right at the word area. Using these book pages, you guys, using the book pages. I've got quite the stack. I actually really like book page garland. And I don't know, but you know, at some point I will be redoing my craft room, but I'm still waiting for my piece of furniture that I ordered to come. And I don't want to do anything until I have it. I want to hang shelves above it. And I don't know, you know, what I want the shelves to be until it comes, just because I'm not going to know if I want them the same width, or a little more narrow, a little longer. I just don't know what I want it to look like until it's right in front of me. So I'm just really waiting. But I remember seeing some garland made out of book page at an antique mall once, and I just loved it. And I'm thinking I might make myself some just for decoration. Okay. so they said that they would get together and roller skate for a date, and that they talked about the activewear, and that activewear back then was a lot different than our activewear now, which obviously, I don't know that they even had the same kind of fabrics in order to have spandex pants or something like that. I know that they didn't have spandex back then, but they talk about how the ladies would still wear skirts for most of the things that they did and stuff like that. So I think that, you know, that was expectations, whether you wanted to or not, sort of a thing. When I was little, I liked dresses, and then I became total tomboy, and you would not see one of those things on me. And I grew up going to church, and I went Sundays twice, and I went on Wednesday night also for Bible study. And the other kids my age, the girls, I think they kind of didn't appreciate very much the fact that I didn't wear dresses, because everybody was still wearing dresses to church at that point. Now it's not, you know, people don't so much, at least up north. I think maybe down south people do, but in Washington State, it's been my experience, since this is where I was born and raised, that it's kind of not as expected as it was at one point. And but anyway, I didn't have to. My mom didn't make me. And some of those other kids, they'd give me these dirty looks. They even had to wear dresses to church on Wednesday night, which, you know, was not necessarily a worship service, it was Bible study, so, you know, even a less formal atmosphere, but they still had to, which was fine. I mean, do what you gotta do, but I know they didn't appreciate it. But I didn't have to. And then, and I hated them. Oh my goodness, no. I was not gonna put one on. But then, I'm wondering, I might be able to do this and get this on like this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. But then when I was maybe, so from the time I was a kid until I was, you know, I've told you about my high heels, how I liked them. I guess right around the time I quit thinking those were the greatest thing ever, I also wouldn't put a dress on anymore. And I was pretty young. I didn't wear a dress for years until my 8th grade promotion is what they called it. And it was required. You had to wear a skirt or a dress, and I was like, well, I am not putting a dress on. And so I finally found a skirt, and I am not kidding you. It was either the day before or the day of, because everything my mom would show me, I was like, I'm not wearing that. And so finally, the one that we found that I agreed to, it was the simplest stick skirt you could possibly find. It was white, and it was straight, and there was no frill. I was like, well, as close to a pair of pants as you can get, so I suppose I'll wear that. So that's what I wore. But then once I got into high school, I guess, I don't know, I decided they weren't so bad anymore. And so I started wearing skirts again. And now I love to wear them. I think they're great. So my daughter, you know, went through the exact same thing. Seriously, you guys, she is like my clone. She's smarter than me, but in so many ways, just so much like me. She's like, I know, Mom, I do not want to wear a dress anymore. Okay. Gotcha. Completely understand. Alrighty, so we used up 2 more, and we just, you know, did it as an outline this time, but I like it. I think it's good. And used up more of the pages. The reason why I'm doing 2 pages for when I'm embossing is because in times past, when I've embossed something, if the paper's not thick enough, it just cracks the paper. And so making it 2 pages and running it through the embosser while the glue is still sort of damp helps. Okay, so they're gonna go out on a night on the town, and these guys are roller skating. There's a little bit of white up here, hold on. I'm gonna see how much time we have. I'm at 36. Well, what I have on this one, I'm just gonna glue this down. And I have, this is map, and so I thought it'd be cute to show this little guy here on his bike. And the caption next to it talked about how, you know, how popular it was to have a bike. Well, of course it still is. But you would be like the envy of all the kids on the block or something like that with your new bike. So and this kid's out playing, and he's got fancy shoes and slacks and we'll glue that down. After this one, I think I only have 1 more, but I know this video is going to get long, and so I will do it on my own. This little guy here has got a hole in his britches, and Grandma, this is supposed to be Grandma, is sewing it up for him. When I was a kid, we used to, you know, what are little boys made of, what are little boys made of, and then the what are little girls made of. So when I was growing up, I thought it said snaps and snails and puppy dog tails, but this says snips. So I don't know. Snips and snails. Oops, I already inked that one. And puppy dog tails. So I thought I would put that over here on the pocket. I'm thinking I want it up though, not down. I don't know where I want it, so let's look. Okay, I'm gonna do up since I've got something down here. So I will go ahead and glue these down with you, and then I will do the rest on my own. I won't make you sit through any more book page journaling cards. And then I'm gonna move on to the next pocket style that I have here in the book and see what I want to come up with that way, as far as, you know, what to put in them. So what was it for you guys? Snips and snails or snaps and snails? Okay, so yeah, I'll do that on my own. The last one that I have is talking about, oh, there's a page that talks about summer camp and that sort of thing. So got those, and I need to glue down before it gets lost the Norman Rockwell thing here. I'll just put it up there in the corner. Okie dokie. All right, you guys, I will talk to you later. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye.